The appeal of French filmmaker Eric Rohmer's films is complicated. There is little in the way of narrative. Conversations between characters are long and often resolve frustratingly little, and formally they're far more static and austere than most of the work that was being put out by his Nouvelle Vague contemporaries. Many regard them as outright boring.
Charles and I are going to see a Rohmer film my night at Maud's. Want to come?
I don't think so. I saw a Rohmer film once. It was kind of like watching paint dry.
The appeal lies, however, in Rohmer's interest in small gestures and glances, when his actors say one thing but mean another, and the woozy, sun-kissed bourgeois romanticism of his settings. The juxtaposition of his grounded and low-key romantic dramas playing out in the land of Dumas, Flaubert, and Hugo. Echoes of his decidedly literary style can be seen in cinema to this day, be it in the lackadaisical conversations of Linklater's Before trilogy, or Luca Guadagnino's Call Me By Your Name. Rohmer's film Claire's Knee takes place on and around Lake Annecy in Switzerland over summer, and concerns a relationship that develops between an older diplomat, Jeremy, and the much younger Laura, but also has intense fascination with Laura's older sister Claire's eponymous knee. This setup makes this one of the quintessential Rohmerian films because it exists at a level almost laughably removed from plot. As Roger Ebert claims in his review of the film, everything that happens in the film happens on the level of character, which is actually an apt way of summarizing Rohmer's entire body of work. As other filmmakers in the Cahiers du Cinema crowd sought to free themselves from the bonds of formal classicism, Rohmer, with his literary background, staunchly upheld that classicism in his work. Rarely does the camera move, takes often long, and little else happens besides conversation. Richard Brody of The New Yorker describes Rohmer's style as blending Italian neorealism and the visionary romanticism of F.W. Murnau, whose silent version of Faust would later be the subject of Rohmer's doctoral thesis. The Green Ray follows Delphine, a lonely and indecisive young woman who spends an August flitting around France, unlucky in love and unsure of exactly what she wants out of life. The movie is arguably Rohmer's defining depiction of summer, the season almost all his movies take place during. Rohmer and cinematographer Sophie Manteanu opt to shoot it in washed-out tones. The light is milky and wan. The vibrance of Claire's Knee or Pauline at the beach is nowhere to be found. He treats the season as isolating and sad, a time when the lonely only become lonelier, and the enjoyment and togetherness the other characters seem to derive from it is frustrating and depressing to Delphine. It also functions as a repudiation of a commonly made criticism of Rohmer's work, that it's too cold and emotionally removed from its subjects. At the beginning of the film, the character herself is cold and distant, and it's hard not to surmise that most of her problems are all of her own making. Over the course of the film, simply by watching the way in which she interacts with people, we understand the damage the end of her relationship has done to her disgust and frustration with the kind of doublespeak required when flirting and trying to connect with someone. Solely via Rohmer's cool observational style, and watching Delphine interact with people, many of whom are non-actors against whom actress Marie Rivette is improvising, do we find ourselves empathizing with her and the very particular ennui she is experiencing.
Et puis on l'a appris en fin d'après-midi, le réalisateur Rohmer est mort. Issu de la Nouvelle Vague, il avait signé quelques 25 films dont les...
In Rohmer's films, the struggles of common people are granted a dignity and romance that is one of his signature stamps as an artist. These people's struggles are not grand or politically charged, rather they're driven by the enduring philosophical questions of life. Finding one's purpose, the differences between men and women, and whether love really is all you need. Because the lives of everyday people are not only legitimized here, but infused with a poetry and wonder that is at once subtle and deeply moving.